Welcome back to Akamai TV. I'm Heather Bowen, and I'm here with Dan Hurwitz of Penthera. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Penthera deals with issues that come up for consumers in the last mile. Can you talk to me a little bit about what kind of problems our viewers experience in the last mile?
Sure. The best way to look at this, Heather, is to put yourself in the position of the consumer, which we all are. We have a mobile device, we want to stream video, but sometimes you can't. Maybe your location doesn't enable you to have a connection at all, like on an airplane. Or maybe you're in your commute to work, you're in a tunnel. Or maybe you are experiencing buffering. Maybe you are experiencing intermittent connectivity where you're moving in a car or in another vehicle and your connection is strong, weak, and it makes it real difficult and frustrating. Not to mention, you may be in a coffee shop where Wi-Fi is public and unsecure, and there are folks who our research has suggested that are uncomfortable with that. Maybe you're in a hotel and you don't want to pay an exorbitant amount of money to have a Wi-Fi connection. We solve these issues because it's important for the viewer to have a great mobile video viewing experience.
So if they encounter these issues, what are the effects on viewers if they've encountered these problems?
Some research in early 2018, back in January and February, because we wanted to understand A, what the issues were, and I learned what I just shared about what they are, and what happens if you don't solve these issues? How do consumers behave as a result of these frustrations? So what we learned was 92% found that they are regularly frustrated when trying to view video on a mobile device. Of the 92%, 55% said that they will stop the stream and go find something else to do. Now here's the irony. If you're the app and you are producing and/or distributing content for your viewers to watch, and they can't because of the location of their device and its connection or no connection, that's not your fault. But it is your problem when they leave and go and do something else. Then we found out that 26% said they'll just stop using that app altogether. And then it goes further. 11% will unsubscribe. And then as the waterfall continues, an ugly 5% said, well, we'll write a nasty review, which is actually horrible because all new potential subscribers, for the most part, read the reviews to decide, am I going to download this app or not? I want to see what other people have to say. So it's important that if you are the app, you get this right.
So how are you guys solving those problems?
So we've developed software that consists of an SDK and server technology that plugs right into the mobile app. It's a simple integration with all kinds of configurations in the form of a portfolio of solutions that address specific frustration scenarios and also use cases. So it not only solves problems, it optimizes the experience so the user has a great one. So to give you an example of a few products that we have. Our most popular and flagship solution is called Penthera Download to Go. It's the ability to download, ideally in a Wi-Fi environment, so that you can watch a video whenever you want to, regardless of your connectivity, in the highest quality. It solves buffering, solves location issues, solves a myriad of those frustrations. We also have a product called Fast Play. Using the same technology, it's for streaming. So we found that one of the biggest frustrations was I hit play and I get a squiggly circle and I don't know when that's going to stop and I just want to watch the video. And if you can't produce a video for me or deliver a video for me within a few seconds, I'm likely to leave. Bad experience. So Fast Play pre-caches or downloads the first 10, 20, 30, whatever the client wants, seconds of the video, plus the manifest and the rights, or the licensing. It's a very small file, so it doesn't take up really any space. And you can do hundreds of them at a time if you like, depending on what video content you want pre-cached when that user arrives at your app and opens it up. And the idea is they hit play and it starts immediately without any buffering and in the highest quality. So that's a great solution for the streaming issue. We also have a product that optimizes the experience that we call subscriptions. So your favorite content, your favorite episodic content, Sunday nights, 9 o'clock, can't wait to watch X. but I'm not going to be home. So maybe I could subscribe to it and have it automatically delivered to my device, and then have a screen notification that pops up to say, hey Dan, your favorite latest episode of X is now available on your device, so you can watch whenever you want to, regardless of your connection. We call that subscriptions. And we also have a version of it for binge watching. So you can download multiple versions or episodes of content of a series, and each time you watch one, it automatically deletes it and then downloads the next one. So you always have a library of your favorite series on your device. We have another solution called embargo. And embargo is kind of invisible for the user, but very important for the distributor, the mobile app. And the idea there is, if you have very popular content and it's going to be streamed or available at 9 p.m. on Sunday night, for example, and you know that millions of people are going to all be jamming your network to try to stream that at the same time, causes panic and potentially overload, crashing. We've all heard of scenarios where that happens, becomes a PR nightmare, etc. What embargo does is it pre-downloads or downloads ahead of time an encrypted version, totally secure, of that content, so that when your viewer hits play at that moment, they don't necessarily realize they're watching a downloaded version, taking pressure off the network, lightening up the load a little bit, and therefore solving a big problem for mobile app providers, the network. It's a great solution. Clients seem to really love the idea of that concept.
So if I'm a content provider and one of these solutions sounds good to me, what kind of technology, how does this interact with my technology that I'm already using?
How does it interact with the technology that I'm already using? Great question. So Penthera is agnostic to your tech stack. We sit on top of or play in the sandbox nicely with any CDN, Akamai, with any video player, with any rights management system. We have yet to encounter a stack recipe or soup that we can't integrate with. It's very simple. And really, at that point, we plug in and we allow you to configure how you want to so that the experience is optimal for your current scenario.
Where do you see this technology going in the future?
We've got some thoughts that AI plays a big part of, where in the case of Fast Play, I don't know what you're going to watch when you first open that app. But with artificial intelligence, I can get an idea of what you're going to watch, Fast Play enable a whole bunch of them, and be right, and then make sure that when you do hit play, I selected the right ones, because artificial intelligence data doesn't lie, will help me to make that decision. We also see advertising being a big component in this. There are a lot of AVODs out there who want to generate revenue for all that offline inventory that is represented with download. And so we've developed technology that's just about ready to go for all those AVOD folks out there who want to deliver ads dynamically in an offline environment and refresh them in the background so that the ad is always relevant. The idea that ads get stale, and if a device is offline for a little while, you don't want to show the consumer a stale ad. So using beacon technology, we can refresh in the background to make the whole experience a wonderful one for advertising.
So I keep hearing about 5G, and 5G is going to solve everything. Is 5G going to solve the issues that you're trying to solve?
I have my own opinion on it, and that opinion is no. We could have that conversation and debate it back and forth, and it's a good topic. Let's look back at the promise of 5G as it compares to what the promise was in the past of 4G or LTE. The idea there was, 4G is going to be amazing, it's going to give you such faster speeds. Well, a couple things took place. Number one, 4G isn't everywhere, it's in major metropolitan areas. LTE isn't everywhere, it's in major metropolitan areas. And you're in and out of LTE connections, it doesn't always work great. It also offers a range that's greater than 5G. So using the same towers, but new technology on those towers, you can set up 5G, have a smaller range, and then need a bunch of repeaters to spread that signal so you can have a larger range. But how long will it take to do that? And how long will it take for the 5G signals to be everywhere? And what will happen with the amount of consumption, especially with Ultra HD? What will happen with the amount of data that we're pushing through this infrastructure? Will 5G be able to solve it? And when? And then how much is 5G going to cost? Is that going to drain my bank account if I'm constantly streaming in 5G? So we don't know the answers to these questions, but I've seen some research. In fact, Colin Dixon of N-Screen Media has predicted that it's going to be at least 10 years or more for 5G to meet the needs of what 5G is supposed to meet. So we'll see, but I think it's a ways off. I'm excited for it, but I think it's a ways off.
You were getting into a little bit the inconsistencies of where you have 5G versus LTE. Talk to me a little bit about the inconsistencies of bandwidth across globally and some of these emerging markets that have trouble getting the bandwidth to meet their consumers' needs. Are you seeing a demand in these areas?
So our phone is ringing off the hook from cable operators, OTT providers who are in some of these emerging markets and are seeing a couple things happen. The big guys are coming in and eating their lunch. They all have download. There's no connection in some of these emerging markets in the rural environments. So it's the same problem that we have in the United States and there are all over the world, where you may be in a metropolitan area, but you may live out in the burbs and commute to work every day in the city, and you have connectivity problems. And the more your connectivity problems exist, or the bigger that they are, the more the need for download and other streaming solutions and video optimization, mobile video optimization technologies. So emerging markets need it even more. And we've seen at the show here a lot of requests for information on how we can help them in these emerging markets because they've got problems and their viewers can't enjoy their content. So we're trying to help solve with Akamai.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Dan. I appreciate your being here. Thank you for joining Akamai TV. Please tune in back at the top of the hour for our next program.